Hey everybody, Allison Gardner here. And today I am going to go to a place I've never gone before, and I'm going to Frozen 2. And I'm going to Frozen 2 because last night I had an epiphany. Pretty life-changing epiphany. I put off watching Frozen 2 for forever, just because I'm not always huge into the crazes. I like watching them because I think that they're valuable and not necessarily just because it's a thing. It's one of those things about myself, I guess. Anyway, and I had started listening to the soundtrack, and after listening to Show Yourself and Into the Unknown umpteenth times, I decided it was time to see the context in the movie. And I watched it, and I loved it. It was fantastic. Thought about the power of Anya. Okay, there are going to be major spoilers. So if you have not seen this yet, please go watch it before you finish listening to this, because it's all coming out. So Elsa finds out that she's the fifth element. She's in Atahala. She finds out that she's the fifth element. She finds out that water has memory. They hinted it the whole time, and then you see how she finds out about her parents. She finds out about what's really going on, and the history of all that had come before. And she, spoiler alert, dies. And then Anya is singing, realizes when Olaf dies too, she realizes that Elsa is gone, and so she's singing the next right thing because she saw what had happened in their past. She saw what was going to happen to the people in the woods and to her own people, and saw that it was bad. And so she's singing about doing the next right thing. She has no idea what else is going to happen next other than that next right thing. And then, of course, it's a Disney movie, so things happen and it all ends happily ever after, and yay! So I watched the movie, loved the movie, it was fantastic. Didn't think about it a whole lot. I read an article talking about how Frozen 2 completely retconned Frozen 1 and ruined it. And I've been thinking about that a lot. So now, back to my epiphany. Also, I feel like that is a little tilted. I might have also just made that way worse. Sorry. Anyway. Okay, so I read that article. I've been thinking about that article a lot, and I've been on the fence. And last night, as I was fighting my own battles of feeling really frustrated at just where I am now and feeling really stuck and watching the world around me go insane, and people scared, people fighting, people wanting their voice to be heard, and having absolutely no idea where I fit in that mix, and watching myself trying so hard to reach these really exciting, huge, awesome goals, and feeling very stuck where I am, and just tons of things, tons of stuff all swirling around inside of me, and asking Heavenly Father how it all works, what I do with all of it, where it all goes. And he said, Allison, you think that where you want to go, who you want to be, is so different than who you are. That future you is so different and is this other being and is different than who you are. But the things that you were going to love then, when almost every aspect of your life has changed, are going to be the same things you love now. The light bulb moments of helping people, asking that one right question, wordsmithing, being there for people. Those things are going to be the exact same things then that you absolutely love now. That person is not different. That person is you. The only difference is that person will see who you have always been. and we'll see what it is that you have to offer. And that blew my mind because I know who that person is. Like, well, let me rephrase that. My problem was I didn't see how to become that person. And essentially what Heavenly Father told me was, I already am. It's just a matter of belief. It's a matter of belief that all of those things that I want there already are. It's just me stepping into them. And I thought about that moment in Show Yourself where she steps in to her power and she steps in to the center of all the little diamonds and all the other elements. And she becomes the fifth element. But the thing is she always was the fifth element. She just didn't know it. And it was by listening to her mother singing and seeing that voice, realizing that that voice that she's been hearing inside of her was herself, was her DNA from her mother. And her mother was calling to her to embrace who she already was, but was afraid of because she'd seen what happened when she was fully herself. And that's the journey of Frozen 2, is her realizing she can embrace herself completely. Frozen 1 was she didn't have to be afraid of herself. Frozen 2 was realizing she could go all in and change the world. And that happened by embracing the call inside her. That happened by embracing where she came from. That happened by knowing who she was. This whole journey for me started when I stopped being angry with God. This whole journey of considering new things that I had never considered before started when I decided I didn't have to be angry anymore. And when I realized that there were things about myself that I could really love. But that was only the first step, and that's what Frozen was the first step that she didn't have to hate herself. The first step that she didn't have to do it like everybody else. Was the first step of realizing that she could plot her own course. And the second one was her realizing that that was who she was, hadn't changed. Her abilities weren't some new thing. It was who she always was. She just decided to let it be free. So I want to ask you today, what are things about yourself that you are afraid to step into? What are things about yourself that you are afraid of fully being because it's different than the people around you? What are things that you know are your core self that you're afraid of believing? Because as Mary Williams says, it's not our darkness that we're afraid of. It is afraid that we are brighter than anything. And we are afraid of being more successful than we can imagine. We are afraid of really stepping up and being our whole selves because, yeah, it's really scary when the people around you don't know what to do with you. It is really scary when you step up and you share what's in your heart and you get crickets. I had that experience last week and it sent me for a tailspin. Like a week-long one. Okay, maybe 4 or 5 days. Until I realized that I can't control what anybody else thinks or feels. I can't determine how they respond to me. I can't control the feedback. But I can control speaking me. I control what I feel, that what I feel in my heart is valuable to me. I control what I dream about and what I want. That is what is within our control. How we talk about ourselves to ourselves, how we talk about ourselves to other people, and how we choose to love ourselves no matter how anybody else responds to. And our power comes when we choose that we are our ultimate decider. So who is it that you want to step into today? Who is it that you want to be? Because the person you are 5 years down the road is the person you are today. It's simply a matter of belief in yourself. It's not about going on huge, long journeys far flung across the galaxy. It's not about having to become a completely different person that you don't recognize. It's about being the person you're afraid to recognize because you know how amazing and fantastic they are. It's about stepping into everything that's inside of you and not worrying about the outside stuff. The two most powerful declarations that came to me about this are, I am already on the path that will take me where I want to be. It's not about finding some new path. It's about making the most out of the one that I'm on. And I can only control what I can control. And I control my thoughts, I control my words, and I control my deeds. Go get them today, guys.